Hey guys, Tim Avery here with another rendition of putting it all together. I am working on doing some minor house repairs. I just figured I'd just kind of share this with you guys if you're interested in how to do some of these things. Well, we had with our home where some parts of the house, the walls were just kind of painted. We have an older house. We have an older home about 1934 when it was built, and they actually went through and did a lot of the remodel and construction. They actually flipped the house, and so we've been in this house for about 2.5, almost 3 years now. And so there's some paint that's kind of bubbling and kind of coming off. So what we decided to do is just go ahead and just scrape it all off, fill that paint that's coming off, just sand it down, and then just spackle it if it's bad enough place where it can spackle, and just kind of repaint it. So that's how we've been doing. But we noticed that some of our baseboards actually was painted, and it was starting to bubble. So we're like, man, what's kind of going on with this? And I don't know if you can see this behind me. I'll see that you see this. I'll kind of point at this gap here. You see this gap right here in this baseboard, that right there. And so all it is a piece of wood. And so what we thought of, that's just the way it was. And what they ended up doing was they just put this little piece of paint and wood, whatever, and they just kind of try to fill it and just kind of be like that, just paint it over, kind of like that. So we feel like do a better job of doing this, because this looks like a bunch of Bondo and wood and whatever else this is. So all we did, we went to our local hardware store and got when we measured it, we measured the thickness of that gap, of that little baseboard, see how much gap we had, because there's a gap between the actual footboard and the baseboard. This little base floor molding here, this bottom molding here, and the actual wall of that baseboard, to see what we could do to repair that. So I went to the local hardware store and got a piece of plywood here, this little piece of thin wood here, and just got there. That's like probably maybe a millimeter thick, or maybe a millimeter and a half thick, and then so that way we can just kind of cover up that hole. And just do that. So what we're gonna do is there's I fitted it, and cut it down in there. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of cover it up like that. Get this other piece on top there, and just cover it, paint it, and get it repaired. So that's what I'm going to do in this rendition. So if you're interested in watching that, stay tuned, and we'll get that done. So, all right, here we go. All right, first what we're going to need to do, we've got that sanded down, and you got your safety equipment. Make sure you've got face mask, because if you're sanding anything down, you want face mask and glasses. I just get some normal grit sandpaper. Sand this down right here. All right. Now my plan is to paint this before I get going on this. So that way I just let this paint this and let it dry. So that's what I'll end up doing. But for the sake of time, I'm using this right here. But I will tell you what you might want to get yourself. Ridiculous to talking this. You want to get you some molding. This is molding sealant. You want to pick this up at your hardware store. I'll kind of show you this. This is specifically for molding. Just kind of sealing all cracks. That's the molding. That's this right along here. This is what you'll use that for, just to kind of seal up the cracks that you have there. If you want to get gloves, I got some latex gloves and some spackle, because areas that where we're and I'll show you up here. You see all that up above my head there? That's where the paint was project in a second. So so let me go ahead and do that. So just to let you know, simple projects. Like I said, you want to go to the hardware store. They have little pieces like this you can get from the hardware store. They might be a little bit longer than what you need. I think the piece that I got for this was actually 2 feet long, and all I needed was 1.25 feet, 12 inches and a quarter on both of this. And I found this other little piece, which was also 2 feet long, and it was roughly, I think, what, an inch, maybe 2 inches wide, maybe an inch and a half wide. And I just put it together. So this was like 6 inches wide, and this was and then an inch and a half, and And so that was exactly what I needed for my baseboard. So never know what you got at your hardware store. I always say to check that out. But right now I'm gonna finish sanding this down, paint this, and that's what I'll be doing right now. Okay? If you're interested in this one. So I'm going back to my mask, so you probably won't understand what I'm saying. All right. I'm saying it. I'm also going to open up the window right behind. Dust everywhere. That's why you want the mask. Um, but the reason why I'm sanding this is because I want to make a smooth transition between the paint that's here that I'm leaving up here. When I put that paint on, it'll be a smooth transition. You won't be able to tell. So that's why I'm sanding this down here. Okay, I'm doing that. All right. Now I've got that. I'm going to sand it down. That in here is going to dust the residual dust up on here. More about prep work than actual painting, because the painting part of this is going to be fairly easy. Anything that you're going to do, most of the time the prep work is going to be the hardest part. Okay, so I've got that done. I'm making a kind of a mess down here. So because I'm painting, it's always good to use a drop cloth wherever you're painting. These are cheap. Get these for about a couple bucks. Pack of three, probably like $4 or $5. Super cheap. When you don't need any paint. When you paint on. Okay. Got my paint here. This is going to match Always want to color match your paint. Going back to the store to do that. And we had this in previous projects, so I know this paint already matches. This shouldn't take very long to do. Um, roll over here. This is the easy part, but I'm making a mess of this. That's okay. I've got my drop cloth down. There we go. We got that completely painted over. Done. Got a little spot now. Get down with the paint. Area. On there. So there we go. So I dropped a lot of paint right there, which is the reason why I put that paint there. But it dropped off there, so just gonna smear that paint there. There we go. That part was easy. All right, so come back to that. This is the second paint that I've got the paint for. I can do. I guess I can try this paint right now. I've got my brush. Dry. Let's see. Back on. I'm just painting these right now. White paint that I have. Put a paint on here. I got my drop cloth down right here. I'm confident enough just to kind of paint this. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. I'm out with a second coat on that. I got that nice and painted. Remove the other side. Cloth. And the other section. So. All right, so it'll take a little bit longer. So starting off right now, we'll do the exact same process. I do on this wall since the difference of the paint and the wall is different, a little bit more depth. I'm going to put some spackle on that one a little bit so that way I can smooth out the process. So we'll give you so I'll give you an update on what the wood looks like too. I already talked about that. So so yeah, I'm signing off right now. I'll be back on just a little bit.